What's up, cuties, and welcome to the start of another Booktube experiment. This is a series where I read books that Booktube hates. In the very first installment of this series, I read about 5 books that Booktube collectively cannot stand, and y'all really enjoyed that video, so I decided to make a thriller edition for the month of October. In this video, you are going to see me read The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Now, I have known that I was going to do this video reading House Across the Lake for quite a while. And so I very intentionally have not looked into the criticisms for The House Across the Lake. And the one kind of point of feedback that y'all gave for the very first video, where I read a series of books that booktubers hated, was for me to read reviews, 1-star reviews of these books at the end of my reading experience. So I will be doing that in this vlog. I will be going into these books with an open mind, giving my personal opinion, and then at the end of reading each of these books, I will talk about the criticisms and figure out what it was exactly that y'all didn't like. Because as of right now, I have no idea why Booktube hates The House Across the Lake. My understanding of this book is that we are following a disgraced actress named Casey who is grieving after her husband drowned in their lake home. She is sent by her mother to the lake in order to sober up, and quickly becomes fascinated and a little obsessed with the wealthy, idyllic neighbors across the lake. She ends up befriending the wife of the couple, who promptly goes missing and becomes convinced that her husband did the deed. I'm not gonna lie, Riley Sager is an author I tried once and did not like. I was not impressed with Lock Every Door. I think that's what it was called. The one with the haunted house and the writer and the girl who returns. I hated that book. I just really did not enjoy it. There was nothing interesting about the writing style, the characters, none of that. I found it very cookie cutter and typical, and I just wasn't into it. And y'all know, those of you who've been following me for a while know that like domestic thrillers and commercial thrillers are just not it for me. I rarely end up enjoying those books. I'm never surprised by them. I'm rarely surprised by them. Let me go back, let me correct myself. And I rarely give those books 5 stars. So nothing about this book seems unique. It's giving The Woman in the Window. This kind of premise has been done so many times. And obviously the nosy neighbor spying on someone else, and like that just does nothing for me. It's just not something that I find interesting or compelling, but we'll see what happens. You never know. That's the thing about these experiment videos. You never know what is going to happen with them. The results of the first experiment video, I highly encourage you watch that. I was shocked. I was very shocked. I feel like the thing that people know about my channel is that I hate everything, which is so not true. I love tons and tons of books, but I feel like the stereotypical impression of my channel is that like Jesse's always ranting about books that they can't stand, which is true to an extent. Like I will totally make videos where I'm tearing apart the books that I didn't like, but you will see even more videos about me gushing about the books that I do like. My rant reviews are probably like 30% of my overall channel. And that was why I started this series, was because, okay, let's start a series where I see if the books that y'all hate are ones that I hate as well, because usually it's the opposite. It's me hating books that y'all tend to love. And that's why this series was so fun, because it is allowing me to kind of flip the switch a little bit, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm really excited about this.
4 to 6 days later.
Is it just me, or do we not trust Catherine? She seems way too much the innocent victim of someone else's evil scheme. And in my experience with thrillers, it's never that cut and dry. So I kind of feel like she's masterminding something. She knows something about what's going on. Maybe she is the one pulling the strings. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Tom is protecting her, covering up for her. I'm not convinced that Tom did something to her and that the story is going to be so cut and dry as husband from across the lake killed his wife to steal her inheritance, and then the main character has to find her new friend. I don't know, it just seems a little bit too flat. Now maybe I'm giving the story too much credit, because I did not enjoy the first book that I read from Riley Sager, and the only book I've read from him, and that was the Lock Every Door, the haunted house book. Did not enjoy that book. I didn't think it was scary. I didn't think it was suspenseful. I didn't think that it was atmospheric. I was not interested. The writing was flat. The twist was boring AF. I was rolling my eyes through half of that book. The audiobook couldn't even save it for me. It just was meh.
Where was I going with that?
Sorry, I just went on a whole rant because that book really wasted a lot of my time. As I was saying, it is entirely possible that I'm simply giving Sager too much credit and expecting there to be more to this book. I could be wrong, but I like to believe that this book is not gonna be that straightforward. Catherine, I don't trust her. Something seems off. But one of the things that I'm really enjoying about the book is that you had limited interactions with Catherine before she disappeared. And now the main character has to think back and analyze every piece of those interactions and pull all of them into the forefront of her brain to see what she missed and to make these inferences and these leaps in order for her to figure out where she needs to go next. I really, really like that. It couldn't be me. I have the memory capacity of a dead goldfish. I'm just saying I would make a terrible investigator. I hope none of my friends go missing because I'm not gonna remember shit. I'm not gonna remember what you were wearing. I'm not gonna remember where we were. Like, none of that shit. Like, don't go missing around me. Because, and here's the other thing about this. Unless you are my best friend, like if you're a woman I just met across the lake, I'm not doing all this shit. I am not gonna be sneaking into house and looking for evidence. I'm not gonna be doing that. I'm not gonna be convincing the police, spying across the lake and trying to figure out and tailing your husband. I'm not doing none of that shit. You would have to literally be my best friend for me to be that concerned. Because here's the thing, I mind my own business, okay? I mind my own business. I don't wanna die. I don't know these people. That shit will sort itself out. I will be the first person to look away. I literally could have binoculars and see someone get murdered and I would be like, oh, look at that bird over there. That's none of my business. I'm not getting killed because I've seen this movie and I die at the end. You have your good, well-intending black person. Hey guys, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Abso-fucking-lutely not. Look, if I had lighter skin and I knew people would care if I went missing, yes, I would be that well-intentioned, concerned neighbor. But I'm not. This could never be me. I'm saying, especially I just met you. I just met you. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. Things are suspicious. My husband's snaky. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. Unrelated, but do you guys want to open some packages with me? Look at all of this. Ooh, oh, I see books. Do we see books here? Do we see? Oh, oh shit! Oh shit, dog. Yo, that's crazy. Oh my god. And I know this is not anonymous. Man, you sneaky mugs leaving me an anonymous gift. You better tell me who you are. Somebody sent Smashed by Junji Ito off of my Amazon wish list. This is a story collection. I believe it's 13 stories from the master of horror manga. And I am so freaking geeked about this. Look at this. Look at this cover. Look at this. Look at this. This looks amazing. And I know the reason that this was sent was because I talked in my TBR where I dressed up as Blackula and talked about my October channel plans. I talked about the fact that I'm going to be reading every single one of Junji Ito's books this month for October. They saved me $23 by sending me this book. So thank you so much, because his books are so expensive and I've got a lot of them to buy. So I'm very, very excited. Thank you for this beautiful gift. As y'all know, those of you who've been watching my channel for a minute know I save all of these. And I've got a little spot for them in my room and another spot in my book room. So thank you. This is another package. We love recyclable. And this is mysterious because, oh no, this one is from my mom. So my mom is getting into town in a few days. She sent me some stuff that she just couldn't bring on the plane with her. Let's see what's in here. There might be some stuff I can't show y'all. My mama is wild, okay? So knowing her, there's a fucking switchblade in here. But I'm so excited to have her here. We're gonna be spending 8 days together. It's gonna be amazing. I love me some mama bow ties. All right, what is this? Yep. Okay, so she sent cigars because my mother has gotten into cigars as of late. Oh yeah, and like some cannabis cartridges. Okay, oh, this is cute. Not me just like showing weed paraphernalia on my stuff. And then like there's a random charger. Oh, it's probably for your pen. Well, she's gonna have her smoke stuff ready when she comes here. She'll be smoking around the mountain when she comes. She'll be toking around the mountain when she comes. Sorry. This is why I'm single. I got another package. This box is literally lighter than my self-esteem. Oh yeah, these are my Dracula teeth. I don't know why they felt the need to send this in such a big box, but these are my teeth for my Blackula experiment video. This is a 12 pack of white vampire fangs. We can't wait. There were a couple people who commented on my TBR and were like, why aren't you wearing the fangs? And it was because they weren't getting in the mail until like the next day. And I just wanted to film that video and get it up because you guys know I'm terrible at uploading videos. Okay, so I think the bigger one is the top, so let's... Oh, it feels weird. Hello, darlings. It is very hard to talk like this. Oh my God. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to film with this. No. Yeah, I can't talk with these in my mouth. Okay, well, this is fun. I feel like a boxer, like. That was something that happened. This is my little haul, and I'm gonna get back to reading. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, so far, this book is getting, I would say, three-star prediction. Like, you know, I'm enjoying it. There's no way I'm gonna give it 5, you know, but I'm really enjoying it. All right, cuties, there's 2 things in particular I want to mention because they very much have impacted my enjoyment of the story thus far. At 1, the exploration of alcohol. A lot of time, or the exploration of alcoholism specifically, I'm sorry. A lot of times in books, you'll have an alcoholic main character and the alcoholism feels glamorized in a lot of ways, but the exploration of the dark side of alcoholism, it as a maladaptive coping mechanism and the ways that it impacts not just the user, but the people in the user's life. And that is a big part of the book as much as the thriller component. It's Casey having to rectify her alcoholism. And you have Boone, who is the, you know, the dark, swarthy, cute dude from across the lake or whatever, who is sober. You can tell that she has a lot of mixed emotions about simply being around somebody who is sober. And also feeling like that is a detriment to them being able to be close because, you know, she's sneaking alcohol behind his back, knowing that he wants to help her get sober and that kind of thing. So on one hand, it makes her not want to be around him at all, but also she really needs him and they're kind of in this whole thing together. It's just really interesting and I'm personally quite enjoying how it's done. The other thing that I want to talk about is that this book has one of my favorite tropes, which is, I don't know how to describe it, maybe just as a theater thriller. Basically a thriller that has components of the theater. So you saw this with Temper, you saw this with All's Well. Temper is by Lane Fargo and All's Well is by Mona Awad. I don't know why, but I really love thrillers that are set at theaters or surrounding actors and plays and that kind of thing. I'm not sure what that is. And if you have any recommendations for thrillers that are set in theaters or have actors as the main characters, please comment down below. Casey, of course, is a disgraced actress. And the entire reason that she's at this lake is because she was drinking so much that she was fired and her family sent her to the lake to get sober. And of course, she's doing everything but getting sober. So you're getting flashbacks to her in her theater days. So obviously it's not a part of the modern storyline, but she is an actress. And that is also how she met her husband. With their relationship and what happened to him is the reason that she struggles with alcoholism to this day. Really enjoying those components. It's just this weird little sub-trope or whatever that I really enjoy when it appears in my books. Overall, I'm just really obsessed with this book and I hate to say it, but I can't see why you guys didn't enjoy it.
The very next evening.
Y'all, I think that y'all are bugging. I am about, what, 83, somewhere between 70 and 80% done with this book. And I think that you all have lost your freaking minds. It is so good. The atmosphere alone, you really feel the whole secluded on the lake situation. That is brought through so incredibly well, and it just kind of makes me feel as if I'm there myself. And then there's like the storm component. It definitely is giving locked room kind of thing, not like a locked room mystery, but just that you are isolated, that there's no one around, and the feeling of the walls closing in is definitely coming to fruition. Like Casey feels so isolated in this part of the book, and it's just giving me a little bit more of that fear factor. This is a domestic thriller, commercial thriller that I'm actually enjoying. I'm so invested in. I'm not gonna lie, I went into this book fully expecting it to be just another cookie cutter domestic thriller story with a low-key undertone of rich people problems. But it is so much more than that in my reading experience. I just like, my expectations have been subverted. I still think that Casey is not very wise. And also, I'm not gonna lie, she has really and truly got on my nerves. Casey is getting on my very last final nerve. She is jumping on it, tap dancing on it, splitting it in half. She's doing too much. There's a scene, it's not a spoiler, but there's a scene where the only person who has any kind of legal authority that is trying to help them is in conversation with her on the phone, and essentially she says a lot of things that she knows is going to piss this person off. And I'm like, can we be strategic about this? Can we not piss off the only person that's on our side, especially because that person is a part of the law?
Come on, sweetie, what are you doing?
She lets her emotions get the better of her. She's not a strategic thinker, and that really irritates me because it's like me yelling at the screen, like, dude, what are you doing? Come on, we know better at this point. Maybe don't piss off your only ally. She thinks that she knows absolutely everything and just won't let certain things go. You need to know when to play along with a situation to get yourself to come out well on the other side, and when to push. And sometimes she just be pushing the wrong person at the wrong moment, and it really irritates me. Like, you are being low-key rude right now, and I can't stand it. That was the moment where I was like, yeah, I don't really like this girl. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to hate the book though, because I'm not a person who needs to enjoy the protagonist. I need to enjoy the story. I need the protagonist to be well-rounded, even if I don't like her. And yeah, Casey, she's not doing it for me as a character at this point in time. And now in the book, there have been two major twists in my opinion. Some other sub twists in there, little turns, okay? But two major twists. The first dropped my jaw. I was like, oh snap, was not expecting that. All right, let's see where that's going. But the second twist just happened, and I was in my car driving, minding my own business. I damn near careened off the road, okay? It shook me. I was not expecting that twist. It wasn't even a twist, it was a turn, okay? We went where I did not think I was going to be taken. The book flipped, and I can see where, I finally officially see where y'all are getting annoyed, because this is the kind of twist that can piss readers off. It's something that happens in books where readers are like, nope, this is a component, this is a surprise that I can't stand. And you either love or hate that surprise. And y'all who have read this book know the twist that I'm talking about. The twist where the book really kind of goes off the rails. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, especially if you know me as a reader. So if this is what people are getting pissed off about and getting turned off about, I do understand why it's so irritating, but I love it. And I also think it was really well done. I thought that the setup was there, so it didn't just come out of nowhere. If you look at the rest of the text, it was set up. Yes, it did. Yes, it was completely shocking. Like, it's the kind of twist that you're not gonna fucking guess. There is no way you could guess this twist, right? If you're gonna pull off a twist of this magnitude, something that really changes the entire outlook on the whole story and where it's going, then you need to really be able as an author to own that twist and to really sell it. You know what I mean? And I feel like Sager definitely sold it. Like, the characters had to adjust, and they're all like, okay, yep,
this is what's going on.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And I'm just impressed with how it was handled. Like I said, I almost drove off the road. Okay, this audiobook, I am so into it. I'm in love with this narrator. The narrator definitely feels like Casey. Like, the voice of the narrator, they have this kind of low cadence, this dry sarcasticness, but also they do carry emotions really well when they need to be brought across. I'm just very impressed with this narrator. So here's the thing. Here's the kicker though. This is where shit is gonna get rough rider, because I made a mistake. I put off this audiobook for far too long. I had it, I think, for 3 weeks, and really have just been stretching it the way that I stretched my mother's final nerve as a child. However, However, this now means that I have 2 hours to finish the audiobook before it automatically goes back to Libby, to the next person in line, because this book has so many people in line for it, and I was honestly just lucky to get it as it is, especially during the month of October. Like, you know, the ancestors were looking out. But that means, and I have more than 2 hours left of this audiobook, so I've been listening to it on 1.75. I'm about to jack that shit up to 3, because if I have to go out and buy the book just to read the last few chapters, absolutely not. And I would have to do it today, because there's no way I can just wait, like order it on a used bookstore kind of thing and then like wait for it. No, I need to know today. I am so invested, I'm so into it. Y'all, really, really loving this book. So I am so excited that I knocked off my bracelet. Come on, darling. So what I'm going to be doing right now, like I said, jacking that speed up to 3 times. I've never done that. Usually I listen at 1.75 or 2 speed. 2.25 is the highest that I've gone, so we shall see. And then I'm gonna finish this audiobook. So this is going to probably be my last update before the book gets concluded and I can give my final review.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
There was another twist, and this twist pissed me off. This twist was so freaking unnecessary. I had to come back on and talk to y'all about this because it was unnecessary. I can't spoil it because I promised y'all no spoilers, but I want to renege on that so bad right now. This twist was unnecessary. We didn't need it. It added nothing to the story, and if anything, I feel like it detracted from where the story was going. It was definitely done for shock value, and I didn't like it. I did not like it. I do not approve. I don't like it enough to rate the book down, but I will say it was entirely unnecessary.
4 to 6 more days later.
Now is when we get into the really good stuff. What's up, y'all? I have officially completed my read of The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, and I have been sitting upon this book. I've been sitting upon my review, my thoughts for a few days now. I've been letting this shit marinate because I wanted time to myself in order to explore how I really felt about this book before giving it a final rating of 5 out of 5 stars. Look, this is what happened in the first video with a lot of the books. I ended up rating those 5 stars. I don't know what's going on. I am completely shocked that I ended up loving this book. I am shook over the fact that the book from Riley Sager that y'all all hated, I loved, and the book from him that you all loved, I hated. I don't know what the hell is going on. But I figure now what I'm gonna do is get into the spoilery woof woof. I don't know what the fuck happened there. The spoilery portion of this video where I'm going to be reading the 1-star reviews and getting into why specifically y'all didn't like this book. And I already know what the answer is, and it's going to be the twist, because this is the type of twist that is going to either make it a fave or make it a nay. Most people in my experience on Booktube cannot stand the kind of twist that is in this book. It is the kind of twist that changes the entire way that the book itself is categorized. People don't like that. And my understanding of twists and thrillers is that people want the book to really stay within the realm of what they were thinking. They want to be surprised, but they don't want to be too surprised. So my friends who do not want any spoilers, this is unfortunately where we part ways. Check out my Patreon. All my links are down below, yada, yada, yada. Now that they're gone, let's get into the good shit. All right, so I have my trusty, dusty, broken and crusty iPhone, and we are going to read some 1-star reviews off of Goodreads. So I've got Goodreads pulled up. We're going to get into the details of why y'all didn't enjoy this book. Now, I'm just gonna say it. The twist is supernatural. And in my experience, people just don't like that. People do not like finding out that the twist is supernatural in nature if they weren't expecting a paranormal book going into it. We got a whole changeling ass twist, okay? And I loved it. I loved it. I thought the setup was there. Like, looking back, you can see the clues. It made sense. That all being said, the only twist that I didn't like, because there are about 4 twists in this book. The only twist that I didn't like was the twist with Catherine's husband. That was unnecessary. We did not need that final little twist about him at the end. We were good. At that point, Sager was trying to do too much. So review starts with LOL. That should be the review. That's it. This is the nail in the coffin for me and Riley Sager's work. Listen, I actually do dislike negatively talking about an author's work because I know that this is a me issue. The writing just doesn't work for me. I rate my thrillers by eye rolls, and maybe it's because I've read too many or I'm just too picky, but my eyes got stuck in the back of my head reading his books. Yet I keep torturing myself reading each one that comes out, and they're worse than the last, and I keep doing it. So this is my declaration for everyone to hold me accountable. I'm done wasting my time. The first half of this book is the main character describing how much of an alcoholic she isn't because she knows she's a drunk, and it's because of her life and her past that she drinks. But she doesn't have a problem, and she's sad. We get it. The second half, was that even half, was packed full of constant what the fuck is happening moments, in the worst way moments, with the main character making ridiculous bonehead decisions, but not because she's drunk. No, she's just had a few drinks to take the edge off. This is very common of Sager's female main characters. Absolute morons with zero good decision-making skills. When I got this arc, there was an email along with it saying, please don't spoil the twist because it's so good and so amazing. I'm not even commenting on the twist in fear of my eyes permanently leaving my body because they're sick of rolling into the back of my head. I've just had enough. That was intense. Oh my God, so we have a 1-star review here from McKay, who I absolutely love. So we're gonna check this out. There's a full vlog from McKay on this book that I somehow missed, so I'm gonna watch that after I edit this video. This is nothing more than a flat and suspense-free tale of wealthy, pretty people in peril. It reads like a standard box-ticking exercise in domestic thriller cliches. Alcoholism, unreliable narration, marriages undermined by sinister secrets, etc. Until it goes completely off the rails in the third act and ends up being a celebration of all the bullshit Sager's previous works actively critiqued. I get that Survive the Night was bad for some, but with this latest disastrous entry into Sager's oeuvre, even his most fervent devotees should be skeptical at this point. Okay, pulling out that spelling bee word. Let's go, McKay. This was one of the most ridiculous books I've ever read. Not even fun in a so bad it's good kind of way. It was just bad. The entire third act spun completely out of control, and the reveals were so terrible. It felt like a 12-year-old wrote them. Maybe I'd be willing to give this author another shot if this had been a debut. Debut novels are supposed to be bad. After all, no one lands it in their first attempt. Excuse me. Okay, Coughed and Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson. That is such a misconception that debut authors don't know what they're doing. Some of my most favorite books and some of the most incredible works that I've ever read were debuts. Full stop right there. I truly can't believe this is the 6th novel from a so-called seasoned writer. If this is what his stories are like after years of experience, then I truly do not want to experience what his less polished works might be like. Needless to say, Mr. Sager is not the author for me. Even if you do want to read this book, don't bother wasting your money on it. Borrow it from the library instead. You'll thank my suggestion once you read through to the end. Good luck, everyone. Book is now published. Trigger warnings for alcoholism, toxic parent relationship, drugs, death of spouse, domestic abuse, child abuse, and suicide. What this person liked, the cover, and that the writing has gotten better. What this person didn't like, Across the Lake is mentioned a ton. That is very true. The plot feels like something we've read, watched 1,000 times before. Also true. Trope of broke husband married to rich woman, 183 mentions of the word water, the twist ending, the ending, another female lead. Overall thoughts, this is the first time I've ever received a disclaimer for a book before. Does that make me want to listen? No. There was a study done that when people are told not to do something, it makes them want to. It feels weird to be told to review a book honestly, but not talk about spoilers. So no one should ever write a review that talks about it. That's not me. So here's my spoiler review. If you're like me, you don't expect much from Riley Sager, so when I was sent this book for review, I was eager to jump right in. In typical Sager fashion, we have a woman as our main character who is alone. For me, the conversations between the characters always felt cheap and fake, like there's something off about it. Why is there always some kind of actor in his books? The last one was a girl who dreamed of movies, and now this one is an actress. His books always remind me of when you fall asleep to one movie but wake up to another movie. He always mixes one movie with another movie. In this case, it's Rear Window. Riley Sager has a way of writing situations with women that on a normal day would make them feel uncomfortable, yet he acts like it's normal. Maybe because he's a man, he can't get what it's like to be female. There is a part where Casey is watching the neighbors across the lake with binoculars and a man she doesn't know asks her if she's enjoying the view. That's where he always loses me. The women don't react to normal dangers. And yay, another hot handyman. Now you know you're in a Riley Sager book. How is she seeing this much going on with the binoculars at nighttime in the dark? How can she see him smiling when he's on the water? She mentions that last night was foggy. How did she see across the lake? How did she see so clearly everything that Boone was doing? So did her husband really use these binoculars to look at birds or to stalk women? I love that in this book, the abuse that Catherine did to Tom, punching him in the face, is his fault because he grabbed her first. Imagine if the roles were reversed. If Tom hit Catherine because she grabbed his arm, our dear binocular watching stalker would have been on the phone with the police. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. I really hate in media when it's seen as cute and quirky when girls hit their male partners. Like there's a scene in Sex and the City where Carrie punches Big in the face, and it's just, she's like, oh, you're being such a baby about it, what is the big deal? And I hate that. I cannot stand that. I think that it's not cute that abuse gets minimized when the person who strikes and commits the abuse is female. That really, really bothers me. That being said, if you grab me and I tell you to let go of me, you are gonna get punched in the face. Like, that's assault. Tom grabbing his wife when she expressed not wanting to be touched is assault. Why does every Riley Sager book have to have some stupid man who's quote sexy show up in this girl's life and always have to save her in some way? Every drink Ellie has seems to give her superpowers. She has like 8 to 12 drinks and is able to tow across a lake during a storm that's turned the water choppy. Being that wasted, I would assume she couldn't do much other than pass out. It's mentioned before she's had 6 drinks and passed out on the porch chair all night, but here she is being a superhero. Was Riley Sager drunk when he came up with that weird plot twist of Catherine being possessed by Len's body? Was easy to guess Len was the killer as the murder stopped almost exactly up to the point he died. Hadn't thought about that. They come up with a plan to tell the police that Catherine was just found coming out of the woods lost. What about the rope burns on her wrists? The first 50% of the book is boring and the last half is eye-rollingly bad. At the beginning of the book, there's an information dump of Casey's background. No subtle discoveries here. Honestly, that didn't bother me. Did that bother any of you? Contributing to this miss is the narrator. Although the narrator, Bernadette Doone, is acclaimed, she's the wrong choice for the house across the lake. As mentioned earlier, Casey Fletcher is 35. And for reference, Megan Fox is 36 years old. However, Bernadette Doone is around 60 years old, according to my internet sleuthing. What does Megan Fox have to do with this? I'm confused. Bernadette Doone did not at all sound like an older narrator. I'm really surprised to find out that the narrator was 60, because to me, she sounded like she was in her 30s or 40s. And the reason that I enjoyed the book so much was absolutely because of the narrator. That's me though. Just to be clear, Doone is a terrific narrator, and she has credits under her belt such as Memoirs of a Geisha, which I loved. Okay, you lost me at loving that racist ass book. Next. 1.5 stars. There really are no words that can adequate. The final third of The House Across the Lake is a cross between The Exorcist and the Meryl Streep movie Death Becomes Her, and this is not meant as a compliment. I am screaming. Needless to say, I did not enjoy this book, but kept reading it just to find out how the author would tie it all together for a happy ending, and amazingly enough, somehow he did. So if you're in the mood to read about a crazy, nosy, murdering alcoholic helping a possessed neighbor who's in danger of being killed by her husband, who was later possessed before being killed by a woman who was formerly possessed by the spirit of her ex-husband, who she also killed, have at it. For me, I'm moving on to a better book while I recover from COVID. Note, if this review sounds like delusional ramblings, remember I have COVID and my oxygen levels might be off. There you have it. Comment down below and let me know what other books that booktubers have hated that you think I should read for the next installment in this series, because I would love to do another one of these videos, at least one more, before we're wrapping up this series. So, what is happening behind me? Okay, that creeped me out. I don't need my television getting creative while I'm talking about thrillers and plot twists. So if you want more content from me, check out my Patreon. I make fun content over there exclusively for my patrons. That is going to be linked down below, along with all of my social media links and other ways to stalk me. Stay safe, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Yay! I've waited my entire life for this moment. I'm so happy. It's just a lot. I'm just so sad.